Almost 80% of healthcare employees show a lack of preparedness when it comes to common HIPAA privacy and security threat scenarios. Now, if you're a patient, right now you're wondering, how can the industry that millions rely on to protect their most sensitive and personal information be one of the least prepared? Now, if you're on the practice owner or healthcare administrator side, that's an alarming statistic. But you also know that you have a ton on your daily to-do list of responsibilities. Above all, you want to ensure that the care your patients receive is the best that you have to offer them. That's the same type of mentality patients want in their doctors, but caring for them stretches beyond their visits to your office in the modern day world. As you already know, protected health information is some of the most sensitive data on the planet, and it's your duty to protect it if you work within the healthcare industry. What you don't know, and why you started watching this video, is that you want to make your employees more aware of HIPAA's intricacies in order to avoid a breach or a fine. Hi everyone, I'm Matt Moneypenny from eTactics, and today I'm going to explain when you should promote HIPAA awareness within your organization. Before we get started though, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking the button below. While you're down there, hit that alert bell icon next to it as well, so that when we post new helpful content, you get notified. Since HIPAA is such a comprehensive and information-dense regulation, it spells everything out, right? Actually, there's a lot of gray areas within the law. In order to understand what's required, we need to look at how the Department of Health and Human Services determines its penalties for this law. The good news is that the law was built for the modern healthcare world, and it doesn't have an outdated structure or language. Okay, if that's the case, what do experts think? Well, if you're talking to a cybersecurity expert, many of them believe that it's not a matter of if a HIPAA breach is coming, it's a matter of when it's coming. The HHS understands that the information you're dealing with on a daily basis is highly sought after by hackers. They also know that a breach could happen to your practice even if you're abiding by every section of the law. Proof of this understanding comes from the minimum necessary standard within the privacy rule. That section of the privacy rule requires that healthcare companies and their partners take reasonable steps to limit using, disclosing, and requesting PHI to only what's necessary. The key word within that rule is reasonable. The law repeats that word throughout its entirety to keep the regulation flexible and open to interpretation. Another example of the use of this word happens to be within the Privacy Rules Administrative Requirements safeguard, specifically when it discusses employee training requirements. This section states that employees within a healthcare organization must receive some form of HIPAA training. However, it doesn't state when they should or how often to repeat it. Instead, it says to give an employee training within a reasonable amount of time after hiring. So what's my point after all of this? Well, if you base your efforts toward promoting awareness off of what's generally recommended for training, you do it on an annual basis. Now, although that's great, and training certainly helps your endeavor, there's more you can do to go above and beyond. That's because promoting awareness isn't as involved as hosting a 4-hour training session. What I mean by that is, you can promote your employees' appreciation for HIPAA, either indirectly or directly, throughout the entirety of the workday, every day. So when should you promote HIPAA awareness? The answer is around the clock. Since there's so much going on in your practice, it's understandable that you'll fall behind at some point. Unless you're a massive healthcare organization that treats millions of patients every week, you simply can't afford a fine from HIPAA. In other words, you need to do as much as you can now in order to avoid that scenario in the future. The only problem is that you're super busy. How can you promote awareness when you hardly have any time on your own hands? Now, I'm going to answer that question in a different video. If you'd like to learn more about when and how to promote HIPAA awareness, reach out to eTactics. And you already made it this far into the video, so you might as well like it, share it, and comment below. Well, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to our YouTube channel.